SpongeBob lost media is a category of lost media that needs no introduction, as it's quickly become one of the most popular and most wanted categories within all of the lost media community, and even outside of it. From the Got Milk commercial to astrology with Squidward, and even Nicktoons Summer Splash, the list goes on for lost SpongeBob topics. But beyond these topics are some holy grails of SpongeBob lost media that have a much deeper desire to be unearthed, and are also extremely historical to the development and lore of the show. One of them is a piece of lost audio that fans really want to find, maybe even more than any other piece of SpongeBob lost media. It used to be more like an urban legend for quite a while, and even when more concrete information came out about it, it still seemed like something that was never going to resurface. But through a series of unpredictable events and details, it seems like that might be possible now. And depending on what you want to believe, you could say we've already gotten our first taste of it. This topic is one that's well known within the lost media community, and related to the classic episode from the second season of the cartoon, called Sailor Mouth. If you've never seen it before, or can't remember exactly what it's about, basically, it has SpongeBob finding a swear word that was written on the dumpster behind the Krusty Krab, and not knowing that it's a swear word, he inserts it into his vocabulary and starts saying it like any normal word. Mr. Krabs and the rest of the characters recognize it's a swear and tell SpongeBob to stop using it, though eventually he teaches it to Patrick, and Mr. Krabs even says it when he hurts himself by accident. Now, of course, in every instance where the swear words are exclaimed in the episode, there is no actual swearing that the viewer can hear. They're all beeped out with dolphin noises or other sound effects, which is what makes the joke so funny. But with this episode revolving entirely around the usage of bad words, and how constantly and casually the characters say them, it made the viewers wonder if there was some kind of uncensored version of this episode that exists. One for adults, so to speak, where the characters actually swore to the amusement of the viewers. Well, back in 2001 and the years that followed, there was really no way to confirm without a doubt that such a version ever existed, and it seemed more likely to be a playground rumor, along the lines of that Spike TV adaptation of the series that never existed in the first place. Or even if some kind of alternate recording did exist, surely the voice actors wouldn't actually swear, they probably just said made-up words or something random that would be beeped out later on. Those specific lines would never be played in the episode anyway. Well, if you thought there wasn't any kind of alternate version of audio for the episode, you'd be wrong, because it's been confirmed that during the recording of the episode, there were actual words in those beeped out lines that never made it into the episode. And if you thought those cut words were made up, or just random things the voice actors said to give the illusion of swearing, you'd be wrong again. Yes, in what feels like a SpongeBob creation that shouldn't exist, it's been stated on numerous different occasions that the recording session of Sailor Mouth was anything but kid-friendly. Tom Kenny specifically has made statements about this and has been asked at conventions and panels about if Sailor Mouth had an uncensored version, and this is what he said.
Swearing without really swearing is hard, because they would just say ad-lib almost swearing. SpongeBob and Patrick ad-lib fake swearing. And then we were like, this is too hard. Could we just really, really cuss, and then you guys just bleep out later? So that's what we did. So listening to Patrick and Squidward and Mr. Krabs really drop those bombs. Maybe the funniest thing in the world, and also something you will never be allowed to hear. Nickelodeon has that buried deep in a pit in the middle of the earth somewhere.
So we have complete confirmation from Tom Kenny that a recording exists. But like you heard him say, Nickelodeon has the audio buried in a vault somewhere that nobody can ever dig up, because they wouldn't want you hearing SpongeBob and the rest of the characters dropping those bombs, as he says. But would you believe it if I told you you could hear some of this audio for yourself, and that it's already been posted online? A couple days ago, as of the making of this video, a post went out that I was asked about dozens and dozens of times, relating to an audio clip from Sailor Mouth. The post reads, "Today on February 20th, 2024, 2 uncensored audio clips from the session for the infamous SpongeBob episode Sailor Mouth have leaked. Here is one of those clips edited into the actual episode." This exploded, not only in terms of popularity, that clips from the uncensored recording somehow showed up, but it also led to a lot of confusion about how they showed up, and more importantly, if they were even real at all, or part of some big elaborate hoax. Well, this wasn't even a video I was planning on making, but given the dozens and dozens of comments, messages, and questions I've received about it, I wanted to discuss the topic in more depth and what it means going forward for the future of this search. Are these clips of the Sailor Mouth audio real or fake? Now, I'm sure one of the reasons why this topic got so popular is simply for the fact that people wanted to hear the clips for themselves. They wanted to experience audio that nobody ever thought their ears would hear. But would you believe me if I told you I heard this audio several months ago, all the way back in October of last year? Back then, someone messaged me out of nowhere one day and sent over the 2 clips that have been circulating with this post. The one where SpongeBob says this, and the one where he says this. At the time, I had never talked to this user before, as they said they were part of a private Discord server, which I thought meant that these audio clips had something to do with that infamous Nickelodeon leak that had occurred over the summer. I really didn't like hearing about those leaks and all the controversy surrounding them, so I brushed it off and figured the clips could have been fake anyway, similar to the reaction that a lot of people had today. But somehow, word must have spread around that server that they had been shared, because I started getting messages from other people in it asking for the name of the user who sent them to me in the first place. It was so bizarre I didn't even really know what to say, so I asked them where the clips came from to begin with, thinking that the source of them would have more insight about why all these random users were sharing them with me. This is when I got in contact with someone else who was in that private Discord server and claimed to be the source of the clips. Aside from just being curious where they came from in the first place, I expressed doubt that the clips were real at all, because of how easily they could have been faked. This is when the user went on to explain to me where they came from, and said that in the past, there have been work print leaks from various SpongeBob episodes that have appeared online as ISO files. Apparently one had been uploaded previously on archive.org of all places, from the Nasty Patty episode. And within these work prints are all sorts of leftovers from the episode that can be found, like audio. From there it was explained that a work print for Sailor Mouth had been recovered, and within it were audio tracks from the episode. Now at first, it was mentioned that all the clips that were present were indeed censored like they were in the episode, so there wasn't anything different in them at first. However, apparently the editor of these tracks left behind copies of the original audio before the beeps were added, and that's where the clips we have come from. Leftover audio from a leaked work print. What makes it even more believable is the fact that it's just these stray clips. There was never a mention that the full audio was in there, and I don't think anyone even has the full audio. That was never claimed at all. In fact, I don't think these clips were ever supposed to leave that private Discord server in the first place. The secrecy surrounding them was alluded to in the conversation from back in October, and so long had passed since then, I'm surprised it hadn't leaked sooner. In fact, I thought it never was going to leak at all because of how much time had passed. This has reignited the debate in the community about leaked content, and whether or not it should be fair game when it comes to lost media. So with that recollection, the hottest part of the debate regarding these clips can be revisited. Are the clips real or fake? Based on my experience and the secrecy surrounding the server and the origin of the audio, I can't see any reason how they could be fake. The explanation makes too much sense to me, the time frame is too far spaced out, and the context seems too real to be fake. In fact, I didn't get to hear any more of the swear lines, but I did hear a placeholder line of someone saying, "Oh, dumpster writing, the voice of the people," which is normally spoken by SpongeBob in the episode, but is stated by a temporary actor in the clip. My conclusion is that unless the screenshots were faked, or these audio clips were maliciously inserted into folders with real SpongeBob content, knowing they were fake, or the whole server was in on some kind of elaborate troll that took months to plan, then I believe these clips are real. I haven't really seen any good arguments for why they're fake either, and not only that, this user is not the source of the clips either. This is important for the whole topic, because when we consider them real, it proves that getting a full copy of the audio is more reasonable, and the audio might exist in places we weren't even aware of. And the idea of this happening relates to an even bigger piece of news about Sailor Mouth that was recently confirmed by one of the former crew members of the show. I guess there's some kind of public SpongeBob Discord server where the crew will sometimes hang out and answer questions. And earlier this year, the topic of Sailor Mouth was brought up, to which the former crew member mentioned that they used to have a copy of it on tape, and that Clancy Brown as Mr. Krabs was particularly funny. Disregarding everything we've talked about previously, about whether or not the leak was real, we just got confirmation from a former crew member that he once had a copy of uncensored Sailor Mouth on tape. This is the complete opposite of what Tom Kenny has been stating, that Nickelodeon has the only copies and they'll never release it. How did nobody up until 2024 know that a copy of this left Nickelodeon? That's a huge piece of information, and it gives us an even greater goal to reach for, and a more achievable one, than just hoping that Nick will release it or that someone will have to go and leak it. To be fair, Tom Kenny and Roger Bumpus have jokingly stated that they would be in favor of someone leaking the audio.
And ever so often, why don't you guys find it for me? I want a copy.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone needs to leak that tape then.
Yeah.
We all need to.
But realistically, we could get a tape of it from someone in the know. While I'm not crazy about the fact that this audio was most likely taken from Nickelodeon without them knowing, it is out there and nobody can change that. But hopefully, with the awareness that this topic has now gained from discussion over the clips, word can spread beyond where it did before, and someday we can get a full copy legitimately. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to check out some of my other Lost Media videos. Thanks for watching, and until next time, Finn.